next to one another is everybody needs some elbow room, elbow room. It's nice when you're kind of cozy, but not when you're tangled nose to nosy. Oh, everybody needs some elbow, needs a little elbow room. That's how it was in the early days of the USA. The people kept coming to settle go. The East was the only place there was to go. The president was Thomas Jefferson. He made a deal with Napoleon. How'd you like to sell a mile or two?
Or 3, or 100, or 1,000.
And so in 1803 the Louisiana Territory was born to us without a fuss and gave us lots of elbow room. Oh, elbow room, elbow room. Got to get us some elbow room. It's the West or bust. In God to trust. There's a new land out there. Lewis and Clark volunteered to go. Goodbye, good luck. Wear your overcoat. Stay prepared for good times and for bad. And for bad. We hired a Sacagawea to be their guide. She led them all across the countryside, reached the coast, and found the most elbow room we've ever had.
Attributing one of the most powerful and controversial historical dramas ever played by man to the simple need for elbow room is a grotesque distortion of reality. Millions of children watching Saturday morning TV are repeatedly taught that Indians, like high mountains, raging rivers, blazing hot deserts, are just inconvenient stumbling blocks to be overcome on the white man's road to progress.
Now there were plenty of fights to win land rights, but the West was meant to be. It was a manifest destiny. The trappers, traders, and the peddlers, the politicians and the settlers.
What was going on?
Come on, kid, come to the dining room. I want to show you something. Okay, kids. Before we talk about how Hollywood has rewritten history, I think we should look at some of the major events that led up to the great expansion west that movie makers have been so fascinated with for over 70 years. This is the way it pretty much was when the Pilgrims first landed here. The Wampanoag Nation here, the Iroquois Confederacy here. There were numerous small tribes populating the eastern seaboard, although many of them were wiped out when colonization began. The Pilgrims relied quite heavily on Indian friendship. The Indians fed them, protected them, and gave them their democratic form of government. With nothing in the European political experience of empires and kingdoms to equal the democratic constitution of the Iroquois Confederacy, Benjamin Franklin used it as a model for the Articles of Confederation, the forerunner of the United States Constitution, with its provisions for initiative, referendum, and recall, suffrage for women as well as men, the pattern of states within a state that we call federalism, the habit of treating chiefs as servants instead of masters, and the insistence that the community must respect the diversity of men and the diversity of their dreams. There's little wonder that the greatest teachers of American democracy went to school with the Indians. Indians were then used as pawns in the Revolutionary War by both sides. The Americans gained their Indian allies with promises and treaties guaranteeing the tribes equal status with the colony, recognizing both their rights and property. The British enlisted the aid of some tribes by promising to limit colonial expansion west. But when the shooting was over, all the promises were forgotten in the rush to steal the land. This film, as most about this period in history, only show the Indians as enemies of the Americans.
However, in this case, we made a good beginning.
I'd say it was more than that, sir.
We paid $15 million, and we got a lot of real estate. We know it stretches from the Mississippi River to the Continental Divide. That's all we do know about it.
In the teacher's guide that goes out with the elbow room film to the public schools, which says that it was our manifest destiny to overspread the continent allotted by Providence for the free development of our multiplying millions. What about manifest destiny of the Native Americans? Who gave Napoleon the right to sell the land, or Jefferson the right to buy it?
But we don't own that territory. Neither does anyone else. That's the point.
No one seriously considered the Native American's right to own his own homeland. All the European had to do was to walk through it, and it was his. That's manifest destiny.
By right of exploration, I claim for the United States of America all the land we have traveled, from the Rocky Mountains to the Pacific Ocean.
Tribe after tribe and nation after nation succumbed to the relentless acquisition of their lands. They were forced to cede the properties for no more than the promise that if they moved farther west, they wouldn't ever be bothered again. But in the early 1800s, literally millions of immigrants flooded our shores, and their lust for elbow room was insatiable. Indian removal was effected in a haphazard manner for several years until it was established as a national policy with the